It would be so cool to see Valerie take down the Austin Open, being a Texan. She's from San Antonio area. She is very used to the conditions we've seen all week long. She's been playing really solid golf, and we saw her play well again today, but those putts were just a little bit low. We could see her contend for the lead. Holyn is looking very fierce though, and Valerie is really going to have to play clean golf in the final round at Harvey to make a run for it.
Catrina Allen is back on tour. She has a 7-month-old daughter now. The last time we saw her before last week at Waco was the Majestic, I believe, back in July of 2024. She's looking great out there, obviously looking strong. She shot a 4 down with 8 birdies. So impressive to see Catrina Allen back into form and competing at the highest level after a long break.
Kristin Lätt played very solid at Sprinkle Valley. She was leading the field and unfortunately just had to deal with hole 18. The rest of her showing this week has been nothing short of Kristin's normal. I think if we see Kristin in her deadly form, we could see her make a serious run at first place.
Holyn Handley looking unstoppable with the best back 9 I think we've ever seen in the history of FPO. A perfect 9 for 9. She's 6 strokes ahead of her closest competitor, the only competitor under par. If Holyn is calm and confident, she is going to win this no problem. If she's looking a little bit nervy or lax, I think it's possible the other competitors will catch her, but I think it's Holyn's.
Hello and welcome to the final round of the 2025 MVP Open at Austin, presented by Flight Factory Discs, our 3rd event of the year, our first Elite Plus event, first 4-day event. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb, and we're the 2 hot geese.
Honk.
Honk indeed. And I feel like we already said it all in that, the thing we just watched.
Yeah.
Which was put together very nicely. Thanks, Jomez.
Yeah. With our words.
With our words. So now let's go straight into it. Here we go. Holyn Handley absolutely shredding. Look at that big block of green on the back 9. Truly a feat, we've never seen before in recorded history anyway, that any of us can track down.
Yes. And in the moment when she needed to as well. We have another nice calm day out here at Harvey Penick.
Hole 1 is a par 3, 270 feet. A new layout. It used to be farther to the left. Now it plays as more of an island. You can lay up, but you're not going to see any ladies do that at 270. If you don't land safe, you proceed to the drop zone, which is very far away and sketchy towards the elevated pin. Holyn with the same Z Swirl Nebula as yesterday. I like kind of the nice out to the right little hyzer play, especially if you can throw a slow speed disc like that. That's perfect. Less wind out there today. That flag is still.
Yeah, a lot more humidity today as well. We had almost 100% humidity. Possibility of a couple storms passing through. Overall, less Texas-y feeling than it has the last couple of days. Kristin trickling OB left, and that is the most classic mistake on this hole.
Yeah. A little too tall, a little too hyzered.
Valerie with her new signature jersey on. I'm obsessed with the print. Go support Valerie Mandujano. Get one of her beautiful new jerseys.
And this is looking amazing. Almost base is it. It's crazy. We talked about her putting, but she had 81% C1X putting.
Whoa. So they were just a lot of circle 2 putt?
Circle 2,
donks?
And I think she just had a lot of putts. Some rounds you only have a handful.
True.
And she's putting all of the time because she's that good.
Catrina, on the other hand, keeping it in the fairway 74% of the time. Definitely some room to improve on the putting green, and that's something that can take a little time to get back once you have left the competition for a little while. She almost gets some play off the advertisement wall, but she'll be going to the drop zone that we see Kristin Lätt throwing from right now.
And I don't mind the distance, but this elevated deal that they're doing, I understand trying to make it dramatic and put the players on a stage, but you can't really jump or step, and it doesn't really feel worth it to go for it with the OB right there. So I feel like good idea, but needs tweaked. Valerie for her birdie. One inch low. Dang.
Yeah, elevated basket though, we can't count it. It's
You're
not
right.
a pure stat.
Strike it from the record.
Yes.
Count it for Holyn though.
Wow. Loving the sock game today.
Mm-hmm. And more of her Tiger Woods Sunday outfit, which I feel like last year she kind of forwent doing that, and I like to see it back.
Hole 1, almost 40% of the field birdied this one, 10 birdies out of 27 competitors. We have I think a 4-way tie for last cash right now. There was a 50% cut, so we have a few extra competitors in the cut line that will not cash.
Are you sure?
I think so.
The email said everyone who makes the cut cashes.
There was some talk about it.
There's some rumblings down below.
Some rumblings.
Look at this rumbling from Evelina Solon 4 down through 6. She's doing it.
Here's hole 2. You have to throw under the bridge, over the creek, and not out of bounds. If you do, you go to a drop zone. If you go out of bounds left, you play regular OB rules. The second shot is just regular OB rules from this point forward. This OB green comes into play on the placement of that second shot. Your third is going over the top of that green to this new basket. It used to be about 80 feet left on a little hill. Now it's down in the flat, very much more protected by the tree line. I love the change with the par 5 for FPO. I love this challenging tee shot. I think eagle is in play, but most competitors aren't going to be playing that aggressive because so much risk.
Yeah, it used to be eagled more. That's probably why they have the change. Still a very gettable birdie, but you're seeing a lot more conservative play just going for the birdie. I think it plays one of the easiest holes yesterday, under par anyway, by like a third of a stroke. Ooh, uh-oh. This is really low and early from Valerie. That's going to be a drop zone. Hopefully she gets that disc back.
Kristin with a really nice straight pushing shot, not trying to do anything crazy here, not messing around with that OB on the right side at all.
That's all you need. Catrina a little more conservative. I like the turn on this. You can find those bunkers if you're not careful, and that turns out great, though behind a fairway tree.
Pretty much any shot works here as long as it's not out of bounds off the tee. The second shot is a pretty simple short shot up to that green.
It's a little shorter than you want to land, though, to save par. Look at these Texas skies. Gloomy.
Yeah, you can see Holyn just barely a little chip up, and she'll be able to have a nice open birdie look.
Catrina going standstill. Also just going to lay up right before that green.
Today it averaged in the middle of the pack. A little surprising. A third of the field birdieing. Only 8 out of 27 competitors.
Did we have a lot more yesterday? I guess there was a cut.
I thought we did.
So, yeah, yesterday it was the second easiest hole.
I would expect it to always
with
play
27 birdies.
Yeah, I would have expected it to always play as one of the easier holes.
I wonder if people were just getting wild out there.
There were 7 OB strokes in the field.
It is a tough par save from the drop zone, and we can see that from Valerie. She's not even trying to get par. She's just laying up.
We also had a little bit more of a headwind, I believe, on the tee pad. A headwind left to right cross, which can make that bridge really come into play. And then you can see how Valerie found the short side. And once you go out of bounds off the tee, it is very difficult, bar impossible to save par, right?
Mm-hmm. Well said. Holyn going out wide with the forehand. It's pushing a little straighter than she wants, but she'll get away with it. Outside the circle putt, which she has been deadly at that range.
A nice little backhand approach shot from Valerie inside the circle.
Man, really solid Sunday gallery out here. Austin showing up.
Kristin with just a tiny little pitch forehand. She's so good at this shot. It'll be a tap and birdie and a really nice bounce back from that bogey on hole 1.
And at a 6-stroke separation to start and a 2-stroke swing immediately, Kristin is going to need every birdie she can to make a run at this.
Holyn just barely low left off the top of the cage. Catrina almost in the exact same spot for her birdie putt.
Valerie, a little over 20 feet for her bogey. 1 inch high this time. Little wind out there coming off the overpass.
Kristin carding the only birdie on our lead card. Valerie unfortunately going to deal with that double bogey early in the round. There is time to kind of undo that. There are a lot of birdie opportunities here, just like we see Owen staring one down on hole 3. This feels like a must get.
But I think the battle for the podium and the potential victory, it has to be what Owen's doing.
Yeah.
You need to get so many birdies out here, more than we saw yesterday from anybody but Holyn.
And especially stack them up early. I feel like these first like handful of holes are the easiest ones on the course.
Absolutely. Which is kind of cool. It puts a lot of pressure on it. And Owen rising to the occasion. 3 in a row to start. And putting her in a battle for, she's in 3rd place. Still a 3rd right now.
Holyn with a lot of room.
Yeah, so much. More than we've seen in recent, like most of last year.
Yep.
Hole 3 is a par 3, 275 feet uphill. We just saw Owen birdie it. Other than the OB green, there's not a whole lot to worry about. I'd say most common mistake with the wind that's often kind of left to right or a headwind is flipping something too straight into the rough over there, though it's not a difficult scramble, or just fading out a little too early and leaving yourself a circle 2 putt. But this is one everyone is just chomping at the bit to get.
Kristin relying on a really overstable disc and putting it out wide to the right. Nice finish on the hill.
Great play.
Holyn opting for the forehand with a slower speed disc. Is that a buzz?
No.
Oh.
Z Raptor, which is kind of a slower fairway. Interesting kind of slip. You don't really see that. Whoa. She knew it was going to hit her.
Incredible body awareness.
Really, truly. I like how everybody's friends on the new Zuka banners. Just want to shout that out.
Yeah.
Do you see the backside? They're going back to back, arms crossed. Love it.
Katrina, like Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Is I want a Charlie's Angels version. Look at it. Look at it.
Where's the finger guns?
Yeah. And a nice, beautiful straight shot from Valerie, just fading a little bit too much. Classic.
Oh,
no way! That is she is the slowest but most effective dodger I've ever seen in my life, dude.
It was incredible.
I am a fan of that lady. What an unfortunate roll away from Valerie here. Like unconcerned dodge.
I feel like she has like the opposite pole of a magnet, like on her feet. Like, the discs are like, no, we're good. Yeah.
Holyn's still trying to make that. That's so crazy to me. I would be the opposite. I would dance around so hard and it would still hit me.
Yes.
And Valerie hitting the band on the par save. Tough breaks to start for Valerie.
Yeah. And that's, I don't want to say it's going to end her run, but it's definitely going to make it a lot more difficult.
She's going to need a significant push the way things are going. But that's a great putt.
One thing about Valerie is her mental game is impeccable. Mm-hmm. She's not someone you're going to see falling apart even after the worst break or 3 double bogeys in a row. She is still somehow has her head on straight and can continue to bounce back.
Yeah, really impressive mental game. Almost as strong as that spotter.
Over half the field birdieing hole 3. It was one of the easier holes of the day.
Kristin with 2 in a row there, looking strong.
Holyn still with a 6-stroke lead.
Hi, what's up guys? It's Paul. I'm here to tell you that today's video is sponsored by Vessi. Some of my favorite features that Vessi gives you is they are waterproof, not water resistant, waterproof. Big difference there, keep your foot completely dry. Of course, when you find a shoe, you want comfort. That's exactly what Vessi gives you. It's the most comfortable shoe that I've ever played in. When we're playing on the tour, we're playing a lot of rounds. We're covering a lot of ground, so you need to make sure that you have a comfortable shoe, and that's exactly what Vessi gives you. So you have comfort. They're also waterproof, but the most important part about having a great shoe on tour is the grip. These work well on concrete, turf, fairway, bad situations. Best grip that I've ever had as far as a shoe goes. I started wearing Vessi Stormburst this year. I absolutely fell in love with them. You can get them in the high top, the low top. Like I said already, that the grip is fantastic and they look pretty cool too. If you want to give Vessi a shot, you can get 15% off your first order. All you have to do is go to vessi.com/JomezPro. That's vessi.com/JomezPro for 15% off.
Here we are at hole 4, another kind of almost must-get feeling birdie, but it is not without its challenges. This green can strangely come into play if you see a big air bounce dropping it onto the ground early. The OB line comes up quickly behind the basket, so you do see players accidentally softing the disc. Coming in from such a steep hill, you accidentally get really big flare skips as well, so throwing something faster can be risky. Kristin with the forehand, I don't feel like we see this as often off the tee.
Feelings are accurate. It looks like the wind's picking up here at the top of the hill, and it is the typical tailwind, it looks like, which I could see how a forehand would be kind of tempting, but anytime you throw too fast of a disc, you tend to get the skip out of bounds, which is why you see the backhand with the mid-range or the putter.
I almost feel like she could have done it with her harp. Like,
sure.
If anyone could do it, it'd be Kristin with that harp forehand.
We are paid to speculate.
Yes, we are.
Holyn going backhand Z swirl nebula, same disc as hole 1, and it is working for her.
Dialed tee shot from Holyn.
Catrina looking to get her first birdie of the round here.
Putting it out wide right. I like this play. Just needs to fade a little bit at the end. Get a little ground play. Unfortunately, hits a little dust patch, but she'll be right on the edge of circle 1 for a birdie and doesn't have to worry about the out of bounds on that putt.
Valerie also putting it out wide. It's holding a little straight. There is OB over there. It doesn't come into play as quickly as the left side, but it is there and leaves a pretty long putt for par. Man, she's so close on all of these putts.
I hate to watch this.
Catrina for birdie. Outside the circle. Just a touch low. Kristin for a par save. Man, left side chains. Come on. They're all over it.
Look at that flag all the way out on that putt. Holyn with the only remaining birdie look.
Man, is hole 4 too early to call it? It just looks like there's no way she's going to lose this.
Yeah, she's looking really comfortable.
Yeah. And not from the score, from the way she's playing, her body language. It says she's already won it.
I feel like we can't say anything until we get past hole 5 and those wooded holes. That's when we can call it.
Yeah. That would be the responsible thing to do. You're right.
I feel like hole 5 is one of those holes that can just quickly spiral out of control.
Just eat you alive, actually.
Yeah, walking this long walk from hole 4's basket to hole 5's tee pad, I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, I just lay on the ground and tell the rest of the card to leave me.
Oh, man.
Hole 5, a par 4, 585 feet. Very significant change to the pin, but the fairway is the same. We are going over an undulating line of out of bounds, very squiggly, if you will. You see forehands, you see backhand turnovers. You do see occasionally these safe hyzer around the tree, but all in all, you're trying to get close enough to the OB line to set yourself up to get there in 2. The pin is somewhere in the realm of nearly 100 feet farther, kind of back and to the left than it was last year, which kind of stretches out the amount of OB you have to carry on the second shot. If you are out of position, it calls for a layup and a very difficult third shot to then save par. Love this forehand from Holyn, though the tree is going to be right in her way. I don't know if she'll be able to go for it. for birdie.
Yeah, this forehand, I think forehand is the play here, like Erika said, but it just demands a very powerful forehand in order to make it worth it.
This is probably the most common mistake on the backhand turnover because you're trying to avoid that OB so hard that you end up turning it too much out of your hand instead of letting the disc do the work.
It's a nice friendly drop zone, though, only 310 feet to the pin.
Wow,
Yeah.
it feels farther.
It does. It's uphill, and there's a tree blocking the hyzer, so you have to go big flexy shot.
True. Kristin laying up to said drop zone, so about 317 feet left to the pin. And here is Valerie, similar to Catrina, just overturning the disc. Yeah, she could use a couple of good breaks here.
She's going to be forced to, I was going to say play it around the outside, but she's going across
Yeah,
now.
this is like the safe way of going across. It's a par play for sure, but it's a shorter carry.
And she'd be right around the somewhere in circle 2 on the old pin.
Yes.
Catrina going for it, even with the awkward footing. This is a great looking shot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, robbed of the ground play. She's going to have a deep circle 2 putt.
Still a great shot.
Yeah.
Kristin with much better footing, able to go across. This is a big chance for her to get a birdie here, especially with Holyn slightly out of position. Has all the power. Skip. Great shot.
And she will be putting for birdie. Only 4 competitors got to circle 1 in regulation today on hole 5. Kristin, one of them.
And out of the top 50% of the field that is playing the best out here, only 4. That's pretty crazy.
Holyn going for it with a standstill forehand. Okay,
What a
all right.
baller.
What a flex. Oh, and she's going to
getting
do it too.
Closer than Kristin? Wow.
Look at that wind on the green.
Oh, let's watch it again. What angle control and power from a straddled out standstill forehand.
And landing with just the perfect amount of speed too.
Just, wow. Maybe the exact same distance as Kristin. That's crazy. Valerie with her smooth backhand upshot. Catrina for a long look for birdie. Probably 50 feet or so. I like
There.
the bid.
There were only 6 birdies on hole 5 today.
Man.
Holyn with one of them.
And Holyn having a much better front 9 than she did yesterday so far.
That forehand was incredible.
Yeah. Understatement.
Kristin matching. But with a couple of extra bogeys she's having to contend with on her scorecard.
Valerie with a nice par after the less than perfect tee shot.
Only 2 out of bounds for the top 50% of the field on this hole.
That's
Everyone,
actually great.
yeah, everyone figuring it out. Also a much friendlier wind today.
True.
I wish we got to play this course more than twice. This is one, every time I leave, I'm like, man, I want another crack at that one.
For sure.
Hole 6, our first wooded hole and the first of a handful that we get to play out here at Harvey Penick. There used to be an out of bounds line all the way down the right hand side, but they took that out this year, and I think this woods hole is so much fun to play. However, it is a bit of a tweener on the distance. You don't see very many birdie looks on this hole, even from the best in the world. It requires 2 very particular shots. You can use forehand or backhand on both the first and second shot. But the trees are so perfectly placed that there's not necessarily one perfect fairway.
This played as the most difficult hole yesterday with no birdies.
Yes, it did.
Crazy.
It's still fun.
Yeah.
Why do I still like it?
I don't quite agree with you.
Yeah.
I want it to be like 600 feet, but a par 5.
Yeah.
And then I would absolutely love it. I like the shape. I like what they're trying to do. I like that they took the OB line out. Still just a little bit too tough. A birdie feels like an eagle.
Yeah, Kristin with, I think that was a distance driver, just ripping a forehand. and getting through most things. It unfortunately gets checked up a little bit early, and she might be behind a grouping of trees.
You're correct. That was an orbit grace. And I actually love that play.
Me too.
Catrina pulling it a little bit to the right. Solid shot and gets a nice kick.
Oh, yeah.
This looks laced. Oop, also a little bit too far to the right and does not get the kick.
There's a nice little secondary fairway over there, but it does pinch you off, and it does not let you even have any option to get to the green. Katrina, unfortunately, with a... Oh, man. I didn't realize Valerie was so much off the fairway.
5 feet to either side, and she would have a chance to scramble. Where she was, not so much.
Holyn also really...
It's really stretched out.
Really stretched out.
As she does.
Looking very comfortable in this position, and what a nice little shot out to the middle. Is she behind those trees as well?
Yeah, you're always behind those trees as well.
That. Valerie going to show us her forehand skills. Trying to flip something up, and it comes out just a hair early. There is a second Mando over there, but I think she gets knocked down before it comes into play.
Yeah, still looking like not the easiest scramble for... What, a bogey?
Oh,
a double
man.
bogey?
Katrina having to pitch out. Wow, this hole's looking very hard right now. It again played as the most difficult hole of the day. Kristin with the shot of the century, and look how difficult this approach is.
Wow, that's so well done for being pinned up on that tree to get even into circle 2 realm.
Yeah, that was really impressive. While playing as the most difficult hole of the day, there were 2 birdies.
Oh, nice. Great. Good to see some. Holyn really pulling that low and right, looking like a bogey. Valerie trying to scramble that mandatory tree is very much in play right now. Wow. That was
shot,
so good.
Yeah, that shot requires so much skill and precision.
Katrina's 4th. Just trying to put this close.
Finds a nice little hyzer line and nestles it up onto circle 1.
This is the only hole on the course. Actually, okay, this and 8 are the only 2 where it's like, bogey's fine.
Yeah.
Holyn having some trouble on the approach game on this hole. Ooh, uh-oh.
This green is...
that seems like a lapse.
Yeah, this green is pretty well guarded. I feel like if there was a heat map on trees being hit, that tree is red. I know I hit it.
On fire.
Yeah, I hit it for sure in round 3. Watch my card mates hit it. And Kristin's going to be the only birdie opportunity on our feature or our lead card.
Who are the 2?
Shout out Evelina Salonen and Owen Scoggins.
Nice. Owen pushing for that podium
I think
finish.
Owen was the only one that got it last year too.
She would. Katrina in for a bogey. Again. Fine.
Yeah.
Man, Valerie just having a day.
Yeah, this hole averaged at 0.63 over par. 19% of the field, of the top half of the field, taking double bogey or worse.
I feel like Valerie just not getting the kicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so much of this is like, man, if she just kicked back into the fairway and could take a single instead of a double or a triple, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel for her.
Yeah, Harvey's not being very friendly today.
Here is Owen ahead on the 8th, which is the other one I said a bogey doesn't feel too bad. You rarely see any birdies, but Owen thinking birdie. Wow.
What a shot.
That tunnel is so much more narrow than it looks. She knows it's good. This is to go 5 down, bogey free. Wow.
What a putt. Man, that is a rare birdie.
Owen, again, if you didn't watch yesterday, shot the course record and highest rated FPO round of all time at this course last year with a 10 down. So she's comfortable out here.
She knows she can birdie all these holes.
She does.
She's done it.
And if she does, she could catch Holyn. She birdies the rest of them. Like, hole 7 is a par 3, 305 feet. The main thing you're trying to do off the tee is avoid this freaking tree right there that we just passed. I like the sidearm flex, backhand. Turnover works. We're actually seeing a lot more kind of backhand straight shots with slower speed discs, which is such a cool play. I wish I was better at that because it's the most controlled version that takes, I think, a lot of the trees out of play. We saw Holyn do it yesterday.
Yeah, the backhand flex line to the left, you do have to bring a bunch of trees into play on the second half of the fairway, especially.
And if you fade too much at the end, that left side is pretty brutal.
Wow.
Such a smooth forehand from Kristin Lätt. That was her grand glory.
That was exactly how you draw it up. Ooh, follow flight.
Just the littlest bit of flex. Gorgeous shot.
Perfect speed. A little bounce, bounce, bounce.
Catrina going backhand to the left side with some turn. That also looks really good. Yeah, okay.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. Great control.
Holyn one that we saw, I believe, go straight up the right gap yesterday.
It was straight. I guess it was right. It was right with the buzz.
Yeah.
And that, ooh, okay. Could have been worse. It is not good over there, though.
Valerie also going to go straight up that right gap. Look at this beautiful little hyzer flip. This is exactly where she landed yesterday. Not a bad place to be. As long as you beat that last big tree, you're going to be putting.
Holyn actually left with a forehand gap here and gets some good ground play up to circle's edge.
And she is right in her range. Let's see if Valerie can get some green on her scorecard.
She's green in my heart.
Mine too. Holyn from the edge of circle to save par.
And kind of back-to-back mistakes, cracking the door open. Nice birdie from Catrina.
Working her way back, trying to get back to even par.
Such a solid putt. I feel like you don't often see the backhand flex work as perfectly as Catrina just did it as well.
Yeah, you almost always hit those trees that she narrowly missed.
Yeah.
There were 5 birdies on this hole today.
There's 2 of them.
DN Carey, Silva Saarinen, and Lucky Lorenzen also got it. DN Carey throwing a lot of good shots this week. I feel like I keep seeing her name.
And let's see, it looks like only 4 strokes, I believe, separating now. Kristin from Holyn, and that is a feasible number, which is kind of the first time that's happened today.
Here we are with the last wooded hole we get to play out here. Hole 8, we watched Owen Scoggins birdie this one, and that is a rare ruby on the very difficult par 4. 520 feet. It seems right on distance, but look at the second half of this fairway. The gap is so narrow and so close to the green. You find yourself often with your shots finishing out into the sea of sticky trees, either on the right or left side, depending on if you decide to attack with a forehand or backhand. And once you get there, it can sometimes be difficult to even get out, much less have a putt.
I love the sidearm play. I think it actually works slightly better than it does this year in the longer tee pad from last year.
Yeah.
Now you tend to get caught up on this left side, but I still think it's the most open gap.
Catrina eating a little snack as she tees off. And unfortunately going to turf this one pretty early. We'll see if she has a secondary gap that opens up, allowing her to attack. But a lot of players, once they hit early on this one, they just try to lay up to the mouth of that gap.
Valerie also keeping it too low.
We saw her throw this shot so well yesterday. Kind of a bummer.
Yeah, it was perfect. Holyn means business on this one.
Sure does. She's full focus.
Oh, hyzer flip up the middle. I have not seen that yet.
What frisbee?
That was a Z Swarm. Nope. Jawbreaker Z Flex Raptor.
Okay. Makes more sense.
Still, it flipped a lot for a Raptor.
It sure did. She was serious though.
She was so serious.
We saw her down in like a deadlift position.
Full squat. No, it was a deadlift. You're right. Knees were straighter. Catrina really working this sidearm out to the right. Needs to get this to turn out of her hand a little bit more than that, and that is not a great kick.
Oh, the spiral nature of this whole Holyn laser focused.
So focused. A little too high though, and not quite enough turn. The sea of sticky trees, is that what you called it?
Yep. Catrina forced to just pitch something out to the left. She may have pitched it even a little too far. This could be tricky for her fourth shot.
Kristin trying to work a turning forehand down the gap.
That's good.
Yeah, she'll sneak through.
She sure did. That's all you can ask for on this one.
This shot is so intimidating. A perfectly straight tunnel shot like this.
But look at Valerie. She's going to be
so close to perfect.
I thought it was going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. She would be who I'd put my money on to make that shot out of anybody in the field. So difficult.
Catrina just riding the train now. It's so tough to get back in the middle of the fairway when you keep having to throw these little patent pending shots.
Man, Holyn also struggling. I hate that train.
Yeah.
Like there's not enough stops to get off of it.
Kristin's just standing back there, the wind's blowing her hair, eyes closed, just like really taking it all in the moment.
Oh no. Catrina now throwing 6.
Another snake bite hole here in Texas.
Is it a snake bite or is it like what's a more dangerous animal that's really obvious?
The scorpion sting.
Yeah. Maybe a rattlesnake. It's loud. It's in your face.
Kristin not able to run the putt for birdie, but you cannot complain about a par here. This played is the third most difficult hole of the day.
Holyn trying to save bogey from outside the circle.
Oof.
A lot of right side chains, but falls out.
There were only 2 birdies. Owen got this one like we saw, and Deanne Carey was the other one.
Nice. Deanne getting some really good holes out here.
Yes, she is.
And that's going to be another 2-stroke swing,
Whoa.
Bringing it to 2 strokes.
Is it 2 strokes
it's
now?
2 strokes. That is math.
God, that happened fast.
Yeah. Wow. Holyn still the only competitor under par for the tournament, but
it only took 3 holes to close that gap. That is
And Kristin
wild.
Lätt is the only person you don't want right behind you in this scenario.
That is so true.
Hole 9 is a par 4, 494 feet. You got to choose where to lay up, either over to this golf green or to the left. That dirt path is out of bounds. Then this cart path to the left is out of bounds. So very narrow strip right here. It bubbles out to the right. So you see a lot of sidearm approaches on the second shot, but it is tough to keep it in bounds off the tee. And obviously the tee shot is going to dictate what you're able to do. They tightened up the OB a little bit on that late right side. And this used to play as one of the most difficult holes and is still can stack up strokes quickly.
Yeah, this is
Get
one
across.
that is, oh no. This is one that's largely dictated by the wind that you have on the hole that day. It can be such an easy hole if it's calm or a favorable wind. Kristin at least is going to take it from the other side after crossing. Valerie made this.
Oh, it's the hazard, the bunker.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a bunker there.
Yeah.
Valerie made that same mistake yesterday, just leaving it a little bit low. Holyn not going to mess around.
She is going to mess around a little bit.
That was a definite mess around.
But she was trying to lay up left, short left for sure, which makes the second shot so difficult.
The wind a little bit more taily right to left here. It makes this shot so scary, but Catrina's going for it.
Yeah, and that happens so often. Valerie not left in a good position or with very good footing to go for this. This is a high-risk shot. We saw her make it yesterday from a slightly better position. This is amazing.
That's one of the shots of the weekend.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Testament to her skills.
And standing in sand.
That's what I'm saying.
Come on.
Yeah.
Uphill.
Holyn throwing a pizza uphill with a forehand.
So this played as one of the second highest rates of OB on the day today. 13 out of bounds strokes out of 27 competitors. A lot of out of bounds on this one, but Holyn not one of them.
Clutch after 3 holes of playing over par.
Here's Kristin taking it from the long side.
That looks great.
Yep, and she is going to save the par. Only 1 stroke given to Holyn here on hole 9.
Catrina, I like the aggressive tee shot because it makes this upshot easier, and she's left with a pretty good angle, able to even go backhand. Though that's a little flirty. And solid shot.
A little more work than you want left for par.
Valerie trying to save par here.
Give it to her. Man, she is so close on so many shots.
And that was an amazing shot. You just want to see her rewarded. Great save from Catrina. Solid putt. Holyn, maybe not even 20 feet, but uphill looking at her birdie. No problem. I feel like that's where the nerves set in.
Yes.
At that distance.
Absolutely. I was a little nervous watching. I was like, oh, what's going to happen? There were 10 birdies today out of 27 competitors. It did not play as easy as yesterday's round. And that's going to wrap up the front 9 of Championship Sunday. Handley still in the lead with only 3 strokes as Kristin really just charging down the track.
So is Own 4 down through 11. Deanne Carey another 5 down. She shot 5 down overall yesterday, this time through 12. Wow.
And everybody looks like they're in the upward trend right now in the top 10.
Everyone forgetting Sprinkle Valley and moving on.
Yeah, really getting on with their lives. A lot more people under par today. A lot more favorable conditions, I feel like.
Shout out to Sophia Dunica in the clubhouse with a 6 down so far, the current hot round. Yeah, we got 9 more. It's closer than maybe we would have guessed.
Yes.
So should be a really excited finish. I think the back 9 plays harder, but still plenty of birdies. If you haven't already, you're probably sick of us saying, but please, we're so close to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Join us in that really historic moment, please. And ding the bells. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker. We're your 2 hot geese.
Honk.
Honk.